So this is Diesel for We the People. This guy is David, and it says something about immunity. I haven't watched it yet, so I'm going to record this and get it out to my people. Good or bad, I don't know what it's exactly about. But anything that has to do with immunity and any type of updates, I'm always interested in it because I think it's an evil thing. So let's see what this guy has to say.
Good evening, folks. I'm here with some good news. In dealing with crooked cops, one of the things that we've always had trouble with is qualified immunity. Well, the state of Colorado has just passed a law basically stripping public servants of qualified immunity. In addition to that, the Supreme Court appears to be moving in the same direction. So here we have an article, which I will link to in the description of this video so that you can actually go read it, from December the 20th. This month, the Supreme Court issued a remarkable opinion that could pave the way to repealing qualified immunity, which is the doctrine that shields government workers from accountability when they violate the Constitution. This case involves a group of Muslim men who, following the dictates of their faith, refused to cooperate with the FBI and spy on their communities. In retaliation, FBI agents placed the men on the no-fly list, robbing them of the ability to travel, to see family, or for work. Mohammed Tanvir, for example, lost his job as a long-haul trucker because it required him to fly cross-country after finishing deliveries. This all stems from the Religious Freedom Restoration Act, and there may be some additional lawsuits based on that. My religion, requires that I go into public and take pictures, and we see how that's worked out. Anyhow, in a unanimous opinion penned by Justice Thomas, the court disagreed with the qualified immunity, and in so doing, undermined one of the primary justifications supporting the doctrine of qualified immunity. The Supreme Court created qualified immunity in 1982 to shield White House aides in the Nixon administration from a constitutional lawsuit. As its main justification, the court relied on something it was not supposed to. It relied on policy. Remember, policy is not law. And the Supreme Court, why are they considering policy? They shouldn't be. According to the court, in 1980...
I do want to pause that for a second. This is what I've been talking about. This qualified immunity is not law. I'm glad he brought this up. I'm glad it's kind of in this letter or whatever. But it just kind of verifies to y'all that, I had some type of understanding that, this right here, this qualified immunity, was unconstitutional. And it wasn't even a law. So I'm kind of glad he brought this up, verify what I had to say. Proceed forward.
Two, the availability of money damages against government workers would lead to negative policy outcomes. People would not take government jobs. If they did, they would be distracted or afraid to act. To avoid those expected and since disproven policy outcomes, the court created qualified immunity, which effectively overrode the Constitution, shielded government workers from liability, and left the victims of constitutional violations to bear the cost. And that's where things stood until earlier this month. Now, again, I'm going to link in the description this full article so that you guys can go over there and read it. It is a very good read, and I recommend that you look at it. One of the things we've worked so hard to accomplish is to get qualified immunity removed. I'm not talking about suing people who make honest mistakes. Okay? Cops make honest mistakes. I get that. All right? But the bad cops out there doing the wrong thing, knowingly doing the wrong thing, must be held accountable. And they're not being held accountable by the agencies they work for, or they wouldn't be working. So what does that leave us with? We have to be able to bring them into court and hold them accountable for their misdeeds. And that is the direction we're going. That's what we're working for. That is what I hope to see in my lifetime. Thanks for watching, guys. Y'all be safe.
We made USAA.
Okay, so this guy I watch every so often. I really like him because he is really good what he does. He keeps himself in check and all that. And it's News Now Community. All right, check his video out. Subscribe because, geez, the intelligence on this guy. He does his research. I mean, he challenges the federal courts and does all this and that here and there. And you know, one time he was the Border Patrol down by Presidio, I think it was, actually put drugs in his vehicle, and he got that dismissed and this, that, here and there. But yeah, check him out. Subscribe to him because he is one of the best auditors. And if you want to know anything about what he does, he digs pretty deep in the laws and all that kind of stuff. Now, that being said, I'm more still a Constitution guy, but he still goes by the codes, and I'm more of getting ourselves out of the codes. But this immunity thing, yeah, that's a good start, and I'm 100% with him on that. I am tickled to death, and Colorado, I am just really dumbfounded that Colorado actually did this. I would assume a couple other states would have done this before, but, you know, yay for Colorado. Texas don't Clean Air Act up. I may be going hitting mountains and live up in the snow. Psych. I'm not going to do that. But yeah, that's good news. If this is even remotely halfway true, which I trust him, so I believe it is. He don't put things out there without verifying everything. So yay! Thank God for Colorado doing that. Once one state does it, then other ones have a tendency to follow, especially when it comes out to be what would be the word? Not as big deal as the government would think it would be. You know what I mean? And I'm with this guy. I'm not a lawsuit guy. But when they deliberately do things on purpose, that's a problem. Accidents, I'm not going to go out of my way and sue anybody and this, that, here, and there. So, yeah. I'm all for it. If there's any problems, go before the grand jury. But right now, speaking of the qualified immunity, the district attorneys that does the grand jury and tells the grand juries about the case, they are legal to lie to the jury. And they have the qualified immunity where they won't get in trouble. That is another reason why we need to get qualified immunity out, because it's the Supreme Court of our district, number 5, said it was legal for them to lie. Number 1, y'all. If you train your kids not to lie, then why is it okay for adults to lie? Anyway, that's I'm tickled to death about that. And January, this could have been done back in July. It did hit their desk in July, and they denied it. And for some of y'all that may be Republicans out there, a lot of this was the Republicans judges came up with this qualified immunity crap. It wasn't even on the Democratic side. I'm neither one or here or there. I did jump around. You know, I used to be a Democrat. Then I jumped to rubber cup Republican. And then I realized they're both one and the same. All they do is just, French kissing in the back doors and making love and all that kind of stuff. And we, the people, is the ones that get screwed out here in the wide world. So with this qualified immunity disappearing, we may start seeing our actual constitutions come up. And now the other person I really trust is Chris Ann Hall. Look her up. If you really want to study the Constitution, look her up. She's awesome. She may and should have something to say about this tomorrow night. And I may record her tomorrow night on a little bit of this, because her show is an hour long. And I know you guys don't want to stay here an hour. But I'm curious what she's going to have to say about this. But it don't matter what she has to say. We need to get rid of this immunity crap. And I'm just tickled to death. I don't even know what to say right now. Oh my goodness. I'd be more tickled once the Supreme Court's... I don't have faith in them. The Supreme Courts are not Constitution courts. They're policies and codes. And their job, the only thing it is opinions. We don't have to obey it. That's the reason why our Founding Father says anything that's unconstitutional is null and void. We have the right to disagree with it and not follow through. We, as a group of people, should stand up and say, hey, enough is enough. We have our individual rights, but when it comes to something in common, we can stick together and demand outcome. And, we don't have to have the same deal. The reason why we protest. Look at all this liberal thing that has been going on. I don't totally agree with a lot of the liberal things. But, every time somebody asked them questions, they had their own opinion with it. And that's okay. Because we in the United States, I say the United States, oh my goodness. The United States, under the Constitution, or we the people are above the Constitution. We have inalienable rights to ourselves. And so when people go out there and protest together, it doesn't have to be the exact same thing. Find something you don't like about, find something your friend don't like about, and you guys come together and protest. It doesn't have to be one particular thing. I mean, they're screwing us in millions of different ways, So you don't have to agree to it. Anyway, this is Decent for We the People, and I'm just tickled to death, and I'm glad to share that with my reaction on there, because this is the first time I heard about it. And knowing him, this is absolutely 100% true, because he's an honorable guy. And I can tell you one thing more of anything else. I trust him without never meeting him than I do my own officers in my own town. So this is Decent for We the People. Good news. This was coincidence. Decent for we the people. Bye, y'all.